Since 2010, we have been hooked on the antics of the large, polygamist Brown family, who give a glimpse into the complicated world of their plural marriage on Sister Wives. You may not think a reality TV show about polygamist marriage would provide much fodder for dramatic tension, but these Mormon housewives run head-to-head with the Real Housewives in terms of snarky gossip. Each episode of Sister Wives dishes heaping helpings of humor, drama, and, of course, cringe-inducing content. Between patriarch Cody Brown's insistence on getting his way, the individual quirks of wives Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robin Brown, and the 18 kids shared between the five, there are a lot of opportunities for things to get super-duper weird. Jennifer Lopez has spent decades in the spotlight as one of the most famous multi-hyphenates in the world. So get comfortable, put on your best grimace, and wrap yourself with a blanket before you die from secondhand embarrassment. Not only has she showed off her acting skills in movies such as Selena, Maid in Manhattan, and Hustlers, she's also appeared on the small screen as a judge on American Idol and World of Dance, and as an actor in the NBC police drama Shades of Blue, where she also worked behind the camera. Here are the 10 most cringeworthy moments bequeathed to us by Sister Wives. Mary Brown hooks a catfish. Mary Brown's online dating mishap is probably the biggest scandal to emerge from the Sister Wives world. In 2015, Cody Brown's first wife, Mary, was romanced by a man named Sam Cooper on Twitter. Once Mary discovered that she was being catfished and ended their relationship, Sam exposed damning details about the dalliance, including photographs of Mary posing seductively with a banana, and explicit text messages, as noted by In Touch. She's also one of the biggest names in the music world with several hits under her belt, including classics such as On the Floor, Jenny from the Block, and Let's Get Loud. But while it may seem on the surface that the star has the perfect life, she certainly had a few hiccups on the way. Lopez is one of those rare A-list megastars who has no problem speaking openly about her private life, in the good and the bad times, and, unfortunately, she's had a few tragic moments on the road to happiness. Here's a few of those moments that have tested the mom of two's incredible strength. Splitting from Mark Anthony was hard for Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez has gotten very candid about her heartbreaking split from singer Mark Anthony. Unfortunately for Mary, Sam turned out to be a woman named Jackie Overton, who In Touch called an infamous online scammer, who had already duped multiple victims. Season 9, Episode 12 chronicled the beginning of the messy fallout from the online trap. The former couple wed in 2004 and welcomed their fraternal twins, Max and Emma, in 2008 but confirmed they were going their separate ways in July 2011. The incident essentially signaled the dissolution of Cody and Mary's relationship, although the two were apparently already somewhat on the rocks. As Cody said in Season 15, Episode 8, the catfishing thing was really just a wake-up call for Mary, and Anthony was the one to file for divorce in April 2012. In her 2013 documentary, Dance Again, J.Lo got extremely candid about how much she struggled after they went their separate ways, even breaking down in tears while speaking about her former husband. Our problem ran much deeper than that, and it's probably why the catfishing even happened. Mary also recognizes the damage done to the marriage. Our relationship is dead. It's gone. It's over. Cody Brown has regret about one of his marriages. It's never fun to see a long-term relationship dissolve, but it's especially painful when all the details are on national television. According to People, Sister Wives patriarch Cody Brown married his first wife, Mary Brown, in 1990. Mary was raised in a plural family and had long planned to welcome new wives into her marriage, telling People, "When Cody and I first got married, we discussed that this was something that we planned to do in the future with our family." Apparently, there had been trouble in paradise for many years. In Season 14, Episode 14, Cody claims that he and his first wife were having marital issues, long before Janelle Brown, his second wife, entered the marriage. Work is a blessing and a curse. In the same episode, Mary confesses that pandemic isolation and her failing marriage made her really, really lonely. We can only imagine how Mary, who, as Us Weekly notes, grew up with 25 siblings, feels now that her only child has flown the coop. "I remember being on the set and being in my dressing room and not feeling like I could get up in the morning," she recalled, via cheat sheet. "It was very hard to get up in the morning. Very hard." Cody also seems to be grappling with the situation.
Not only did he tell viewers that the pair aren't acting married, he said that although Mary mourns the loss of what we had. When you're depressed and sad all the time, it's very difficult. Lopez confessed that it felt as though her whole life had fallen apart when they split, adding, "What I had known for 7 or 8 years with my children and everything, it was just boom. I regret what we had." Mary's response? "I can't make him love me. Ouch." Songbird Christine Brown's wedding show apparently. When Sister Wives kid Mykelti Padron, née Brown, asked Christine Brown to sing at her 2016 wedding, which was recorded for posterity in Season 12, Episode 5, Christine thought she was joking. Not a great way to start a gig, especially since Christine claims she only agreed to sing at her daughter's wedding because she was not in favor of the union at first, and wanted to show Mykelti that she really does approve. Christine took her job as wedding singer very seriously, even signing up for lessons in order to prepare for the big day. We aren't knocking Christine's singing, but no one in this history of weddings has managed to avoid cringing when someone insists on grabbing the microphone to knock out a solo. An explosion. Though the divorce was her third, the star never imagined her romance with the "I Need to Know" singer not working out, and it was made all the harder because they share children. The moment Christine takes the stage is pretty awkward, but we have to hand it to her. It takes a lot of guts to get up in front of all your friends and family and belt out a song. "My dream was for us to always be together," she tearfully admitted. Kudos to you, mother of the bride. Mykelti Padron learns the birds and the bees. If you have not had your fill of cringe by this point, try listening to Sister Wives stars Cody and Christine Brown haphazardly attempt to give their daughter, Mykelti Padron, née Brown, the talk, in Season 6, Episode 19. You never want to break up a family. Jennifer Lopez had to break down barriers as a Latinx woman. Jennifer Lopez is one of the most famous Latinx stars in the world, but she admitted there was a time she didn't know if she'd ever be cast in a role that wasn't a stereotype. Mykelti sits there as TLC's viewership watches her mom, dad, and a whole camera crew warn the new couple off of evils like hand-holding and kissing. Speaking to Zane Lowe on At Home with Apple Music, she said she used to wonder what her acting career would look like because she didn't want to be typecast as the Latin woman in the Latin role where you think I should play the cook or the nanny or something like that. She said she wanted to represent everybody and make everybody see that it didn't matter if you were Latin or Black or Asian or whatever. As if things couldn't get more awkward, Mykelti's boyfriend happens to be in the room, too. The whole conversation is incredibly painful, but the lowlight, of the lecture was Cody's bizarre take on human biology. When you kiss the person that you kiss, their hormones go into your mouth and it registers certain things that will stimulate both the heart and the body for other reasons. What? 10 points to Mykelti for not immediately melting into an Alex Mack-style puddle and slithering right out the door. You're a human being. In 2019, J.Lo told Variety she was pigeonholed early in her career. We certainly would not blame her for piecing out and moving to Canada the second her dad started joking about cleaning his gun. Cody Brown decides it's Flagstaff or bust. Not a single wife wanted to leave Las Vegas for Flagstaff, but as we've learned through the past 15 seasons of Sister Wives, Cody Brown always has the final say. In Season 13, Episode 4, he announced to his spouses that the family would be relocating, later lamenting that he did not understand why the family was not all about it given that he had been telling his wives, for 3 years, that they would eventually move. When the time finally came to discuss leaving Nevada, some of the wives were upset, citing various reasons for wanting to stay put, including keeping the kids in their current school districts. The cringiest moment? Pretty much all of Cody's presentation, which seemed to be modeled to trick the wives into coming to the conclusion that the family needed to move all on their own. Maybe 30 years ago, it was very, "Oh, you're the Latin girl. You'll do Spanish roles. You'll play maids. You'll only be limited to this little box," she recalled to the outlet. Christine Brown called out the manipulative behavior on camera, saying she felt that, "He never really said it, he kind of left it up to us." Lopez, of course, famously played a maid with big dreams in 2004's Maid in Manhattan. But she credited her strong team and her work ethic for breaking down those barriers, allowing her to take on more varied characters. So one of us said it out of our mouths. The moment was tense, awkward, and set the stage for the move to incite drama down the road, particularly when he later pushes for the wives to share one big house rather than have their own space, although that plan has apparently been nixed, according to In Touch. Cody and Christine Brown catch some rays at the therapist's office. The beach is the perfect place to relax and reconnect with your spouse. There's the soothing waves, the warm sand, and her role in 1997 Selena, about late singer Selena Quintanilla Perez, led to her breakthrough, as she said the movie made the impact that it needed to make, in helping her to be seen as more than a stereotype while also inspiring people, particularly in the Latinx community. Jennifer Lopez was homeless. It's hard to believe now, but before Jennifer Lopez was the proud owner of multiple homes across the country, including a $40 million estate in Miami, Florida, which she owns with fiancé Alex Rodriguez, according to TMZ, and a $24 million penthouse in New York City, per Hello. She was actually homeless. Therapy? In Season 9, Episode 4, sister wives Cody and Christine Brown decided to turn their vacation into a couples therapy retreat. Lopez found herself out of her family home following a disagreement with her mother, Guadalupe Rodriguez, about her pursuing a dance career instead of furthering her education. To put it simply, the whole episode is a cringe fest. Showing how serious she was about becoming a dancer despite her mom's opposition, J-Lo started spending her nights at the dance studio she practiced at. My mom and I butted heads. The therapist tags along on their romantic walk on the beach, a pirate cosplay therapy session where Cody won't stop talking like a buccaneer, and convertible rides around the island. I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to try dance full-time. So she and I had a break. Christine admits midway through the episode that her marriage with Cody has no trust, no intimacy. The retreat is full of bonding exercises that do not seem to help Cody and Christine realize their love for each other. I started sleeping on the sofa in the dance studio. At one point, the couple even bickers about which beach stones to use while building a metaphorical marriage. Christine argues for the small ones because they're easier to carry, but Cody comes back with a barb. Yeah, but they don't make a good foundation. We are not exactly sure what that is supposed to mean, but it comes off as depressing as it is uncomfortable to watch. The Sister Wives stars give a pitch. Robin, Mary, Christine, Janelle, and Cody Brown of Sister Wives have been pushing their jewelry brand, My Sister Wife's Closet, for years now. Season 7, Episode 2 started with the family realizing that they needed a cohesive vision for the business to gain investors. The wives bicker throughout the episode, questioning each other's commitment to the business and sales savvy. Cody, of course, inserts his own brand of patriarchal drama as the wives try to hash it out amongst themselves. At first, the episode is not exactly cringy. Sure, it is awkward to watch Robin and Mary trade jabs over soup and salad, but then comes the pièce de résistance, the big presentation. Let's not mince words. This thing is unbelievably difficult to watch. There are multiple instances of forgotten words and rambling speeches as the wives nervously pitch their jewelry business. In one scene, Robin straight up looks like she might upchuck on the floor as the investors stare slack-jawed as if they are watching, well, a particularly gnarly episode of a reality show. I was homeless, but I told her, this is what I have to do, she recalled in a 2013 W interview. Viewers were not exactly charitable about the pitch, either. Fortunately, it wasn't long until her dance career really took off, and that became the jumping-off point for the incredible career she's carved out for herself. Lopez got a dancing gig in Europe a few months after the fallout with her mom and then landed her dream job as a fly girl on the TV show In Living Color, which caused her to make the big move to Los Angeles. The rest, as they say, is history. Money wasn't always easy to come by for Jennifer Lopez, though she's become one of the richest stars in the world. She's worth a huge $400 million according to Celebrity Net Worth. There was a time when Jennifer Lopez was so poor she could only afford to eat one slice of pizza a day. Said one Reddit commenter of the products. It's amazing how bad the jewelry was. The pieces looked like a little girl's doodlings. Oof. Speaking to Entertainment Tonight, she recalled her bare minimum diet before landing her role on In Living Color, admitting she survived on pizza for a couple of years.
She shared a little more about that difficult period in a 2014 interview with the Sydney Morning Herald after she was asked what she would do if she only had $100 in the bank. If you have any sort of fear of public speaking, or an aversion to polygamy-themed jewelry, avoid this episode at all costs. Cody Brown's big day. There's a lot going on in the 6th episode of Sister Wives Season 11, which features Janelle and Cody Brown's daughter, Maddie Brown, tying the knot. I've been there, she admitted, when I only had $100 or $20, and had to eat a pizza every day for dinner, which cost $1.50 back at that time when I was a dancer, struggling as an artist. But while those times were certainly tough, it sounds like the on the floor singer wouldn't change them, as they're part of what made her the global superstar she is today. Those are the years that shape you, right? J-Lo admitted. When you are struggling, you're trying to make it, you learn resilience, you learn discipline, you learn to not give up, to have faith. Lopez added she actually found things only got tougher the more successful she became, because there's more pressure, more scrutiny, and more expectation. Jennifer Lopez felt really bad throughout 2020. Like many people across the globe, Jennifer Lopez had a difficult 2020. When the coronavirus pandemic forced millions of people to stay at home and away from those outside their household, Lopez locked down with her family, including fiancé Alex Rodriguez. She spoke out about how tough she found the unprecedented time in history and the effect it had on her usually very busy life. During this pandemic, I think there was a moment where the whole world was depressed, afraid. Very afraid of what was going to happen, she said on the Spanish-language radio station El Sol 107.9 in November 2020, translated by Today, admitting it took a toll on her mental health. The day starts off with the family sharing memories, but they are not exactly sweet ones. For starters, a whole section of the episode is dedicated to the wives describing how much their own wedding sucked. I had a lot of moments that I felt really bad, and also my kids, everyone, the whole house, my family, my girlfriends. The star shared that she did a lot of praying during the difficult time and recalled a particularly tough moment her daughter, Emma, came to her while feeling particularly down. These are the moments in this show that show us just why Maddie, along with the rest of her siblings, are refusing plural marriage, via Us Weekly. Despite this weird start, the cringiest part of the day still manages to be, drumroll, please, Cody. Cody is so enamored with the groom, Caleb Brush, that he seems to think it is his own wedding day, which is unsurprising given that he's had so many wedding days they've probably started to run together. Emma came to my bed and she was crying, "Why is this happening? I miss my friends. Why is all this happening in our lives?" She recalled, noting that there was just so much going on at the time, including the Black Lives Matter protests that took place all over the world. Trolls have bullied Jennifer Lopez throughout her career. Even Jennifer Lopez isn't immune to bullying. The superstar has been subject to a barrage of vicious comments over the years and hasn't made a secret about how the negativity affected her before she learned how to ignore it. "In the early part of my career. At first, he wants to knight the groom during the ceremony, a task which is thankfully taken over by Caleb's dad. It made me feel really bad about myself," she confessed in 2018, via Marie Claire, while recalling some of the hateful comments she received. When the ceremony is handed back to Cody, though, the ramps up the charisma by telling Caleb that although he has just been knighted, Cody is about to make him the king. "If we were Maddie, that would be enough for us to wish for a trapdoor to fall through at the altar. Thanks for the fabulously strange memories, Cody." Cody Brown gets down and dirty. "Okay, sure. It's cute that the first episode of Sister Wives season 14 shows father of 18 Cody Brown hanging out with his kids. My first song went to #1, my first album went to #1, and my first movie went to no. But to do it in swimwear skimpy enough to warrant a primetime blur when your wives are told to live modestly? If you are a member of Cody, Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robin Brown's brood, it is probably hard enough having all of your family's drama exposed to anyone willing to tune in without your dad running around in his skivvies." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm killing it." And then everyone was like, "She can't sing, she can't dance, she can't act. She's just a pretty face," or, "Her butt is big," or whatever they were saying about me, she said, admitting she even started to believe the nasty comments herself. "It really hurt me for a long time," she shared.
Lopez's former fiancé Ben Affleck also spoke out about the hate he saw her receive during their relationship, as they dated between 2002 and 2003. Cody takes "airing your dirty laundry" a little too literally as he splashes around in an incredibly muddy pond in an attempt to hype everyone up about their new home in Flagstaff. A move that was not popular with most of the family, which makes the scene all the cringier. Cody apparently recognized that jumping into a cow manure-filled retention pond in very little clothing was not the most appealing look, later apologizing on Twitter by telling viewers, "You are about to see what can't be unseen. I am so sorry. It isn't a Speedo. Just having fun with my kids." One Twitter user shot back by pointing out Cody's hypocrisy. "So the women have to cover everything including their arms, but you can go around in your underwear?" No answer from Cody on that one. On a 2021 episode of the Hollywood Reporter's Awards Chatter podcast, he said, "People were so ***king mean about Lopez," and accused the tabloids in particular of writing sexist and racist things about his Geely co-star. Ugly, vicious ***T was written about her in ways that if you wrote it now you would literally be fired for saying those things," he said. Jennifer Lopez was abused in past relationships. Jennifer Lopez has been the victim of abuse in more than one past relationship. Should we be expecting a swimsuit line from my sister wife's closet anytime soon? Robin Brown's uncomfortable purity sermon. Family bonding. I've never gotten a black eye or busted lip, but I have been in relationships where I felt abused one way or another, mentally, emotionally, verbally. Isn't it the best? You know, when your sister wife, mom, aunt, babysitter stands in front of your dad, his 4 other wives, and your 17 siblings to confess that she had, gasp, sex in college, resulting in the birth of your stepbrother, who is now standing next to you looking like he wants to crawl into a hole and die. No? Well, if you didn't grow up on the sister wives compound, you might have missed Robin Brown's insanely awkward purity speech in Season 6, Episode 6. There are several grimace-inducing elements at play here. The unnecessary repetition of the word, purity. The crying. The way Robin refers to the premarital conception of her son, the biggest mistake of her life. How every single person in the room, except for Cody Brown, who is listening way too intently, are slumped in their chairs as if they've been powered off. I know what it feels like for your soul to be diminished by the way your loved one is treating you, she wrote in her 2013 memoir True Love, via Cosmopolitan Philippines. Honestly, if the goal is to scare us out of lust, just thinking about this sermon does the trick. Lopez suggested she didn't know her worth at the time, admitting, every day that you don't walk out that door, every day you accept things in your partner and in yourself, is a day that you're saying, it's okay. The star has since worked hard to keep her mind as healthy as her body and uses therapy to help herself get stronger. Lopez has been going to therapy since at least her early 30s and shared that it helped her to learn how to love herself properly. I was doing all these things in my personal relationships that didn't seem like I was loving myself, but I didn't even understand the concept of it. It took time and it's a journey and it's still a journey for me, she said on Coach Conversations in 2021. Therapy has become an important part of her life, and she told Allure a month later that she and fiancé Alex Rodriguez attended therapy together, calling it really helpful. The death of an aunt devastated Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez has made no secret of her close relationship with her family members and was left devastated after her Aunt Rose died in 2019. She shared a heartbreaking and touching tribute to her aunt, who she affectionately referred to as Titi Rose, on Instagram in August of that year, where she told fans how much she loved and admired her. Lopez shared her admiration for her long marriage to her uncle, who Rose was laid to rest next to. She wrote that the late couple's 3 children were her closest cousins growing up and told fans that they had such a close bond that she considered them to be sisters. I have so many emotions as I write this. About how fierce, tough and unapologetically herself, Rose was. She taught me what it was to be a hard-working woman, the singer and actor wrote of her unwavering appreciation for her aunt. He, like the other women I was fortunate enough to be raised by, taught me to be independent and unafraid of life and what it would bring. Alongside the heart-rending caption, Lopez shared a video of Titi Rose dancing with her mom, Guadalupe Rodriguez, as well as several old and new personal family photos.
Jennifer Lopez suffered a nervous breakdown a few years after her breakthrough success with Selena. Before she went on to appear in movies like Maid in Manhattan and Monster in Law. Jennifer Lopez had what she described as a nervous breakdown on set in 2001. Lopez was shooting for the drama movie Enough and found herself suddenly hit with an unexpected wave of emotion. I was like, I don't want to move. I don't want to talk. I don't want to do anything. I had a nervous breakdown, she told Daily Beast in 2008. Lopez said there were no telltale signs that it was coming and shared the terrifying details of how, initially, she had no idea what was happening to her and had to sit and do nothing in her trailer to calm down. It's funny what tricks your mind plays on you. I just didn't want people to think I was falling apart. But when I look back on it now, it's so odd to me that those are the words I chose to say. I am not weak. She recalled how her bodyguard had to put her in the car and she went straight to the doctor, who diagnosed her as being sleep-deprived and overworked. The doctor tried to prescribe her pills, though she declined them, and Lopez was told not to go back to the set until she'd had 2 days of sleep. She did, and, fortunately, the superstar was okay. Jennifer Lopez's parents' divorce was difficult for her. Jennifer Lopez's parents didn't have the traditional happy ending to their romance, as their union ended in divorce 33 years after they tied the knot. The split took its toll on their daughter, and she struggled to return to their family home after a difficult conversation about their split. For a 2013 interview with W, she went home for the first time since her parents called her and her siblings, J. Lo has 2 sisters, Linda Lopez and Leslie Lopez, back to tell them about their divorce. I think that's why I was nervous about coming here today. It's like seeing someone from the past. You're afraid to run into them because you never know if it's going to be, wow, or very difficult. This is a combination of both, Jennifer, who didn't want to go inside, said. But despite the demise of their marriage, Jennifer doesn't have a bad relationship with her parents or bad memories of her childhood growing up in the Bronx. She actually credits her mom, Guadalupe Rodriguez, and dad, David Lopez, for her strong work ethic, noting she learned how to work hard by watching them. My dad worked nights, and I was aware of how much he was doing for us. My mom was a Tupperware lady and also worked at the school. I always felt that I couldn't let them down, she told W, adding she had a natural discipline from early on. Jennifer Lopez has had a lot of relationship drama. Jennifer Lopez hasn't had the best luck in her love life. Before divorcing Mark Anthony in 2014, she was married to Ojani Noah from 1997 until 1998 and Chris Judd from 2011 until 2003. Things didn't end too well with Noah, as he tried to write a tell-all about their romance, though Lopez managed to keep her private life under wraps, blocking it following a legal battle, according to Daily Mail. She's also had bad luck with her boyfriends. Lopez and ex-boyfriend P. Diddy got into some hot water in 1999 after they left a party that was derailed by gunfire. As New York recounted, police found a loaded gun in the then-couple's car. Lopez was cleared, but police detained Diddy, who was later acquitted. She then went on to get engaged to Ben Affleck in 2002, but they split mere days before their 2004 wedding. Affleck called things off and Lopez wrote in her memoir, True Love, that the split felt like her heart was torn out of her chest, via Daily Mail. Lopez has also suffered through cheating rumors. A People source claimed in 2016 that she called it quits with longtime boyfriend Casper Smart after he allegedly cheated. She then became engaged to Alex Rodriguez in 2019, who was also hit with allegations of infidelity. Lopez denied the claims on The Breakfast Club. Lopez and Rodriguez faced split reports shortly after in March 2021, but made it clear they are still together but working through some difficulties. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, please contact the crisis text line by texting HOME to 741741, or call the National Alliance on Mental Illness helpline at 1-800-950-NAMI, 6264. If you or someone you know is dealing with domestic abuse, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or TTY 1-800-787-3224. You can also find more information, resources, and support at www.thehotline.org.